Hey, welcome back to Key to Learn English, the podcast that helps you grow your English through real conversations about real life. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Ryan. So good to have you here today. Whether you're sitting at home, commuting, washing dishes, or taking a walk, we are so happy you pressed play on this episode.
Today's topic? Oh, this one is personal. We are talking about something that almost every person on this planet struggles with: comparing yourself to others. You know that feeling. You look at someone else's life and suddenly your own life starts to feel not enough.
And the reason we wanted to do this episode is honestly because we've both been there, many times, and we think it's something nobody talks about openly enough, especially in a world full of social media highlights and perfect-looking profiles.
So today we have 4 big ideas about comparison, why it hurts us, and what we can actually do about it. Plus, a word tour at the end where we break down the most useful expressions from this episode.
Before we dive in, quick level check. This episode is B1, which is Intermediate English. If you're A2, that's completely fine too. Just listen, relax, and don't worry if you miss a few words. Come back a second time and you'll catch more.
And our comment challenge for today is simple. Write one sentence in English. Tell us one area of your life where you sometimes compare yourself to others. Maybe it's your job, your English level, your appearance, anything. Just one honest sentence. We read every single one.
Also, if Key to Learn English is helping you, please like this episode and subscribe to the channel. It genuinely helps more learners find us. And share it with one friend who is learning English. Okay, let's go. Let's start with the basics. Why do we compare ourselves to others in the first place? Is it just a bad habit? Or is there something deeper going on?
Actually, it's very human. Our brains are wired to compare. For thousands of years, humans lived in small groups, and it was useful to notice who was stronger, who had more food, who was safer. Comparison helped people survive.
So comparison itself isn't the problem. The problem is that our brains are still doing that ancient survival trick. But now, instead of comparing with 10 people in our village, we're comparing with millions of people on the internet, every single day.
Exactly. And social media makes it so much worse. You scroll through Instagram or TikTok and you see someone's perfect holiday, someone's dream job announcement, someone's gorgeous apartment, someone's amazing relationship. And your brain goes, wait, why don't I have that?
But here's what we forget, and this is so important. We are comparing our behind the scenes to everyone else's highlight reel. Their highlight reel. The best moments, the best angles, the best version of a story. We never see the bad days, the arguments, the anxiety, the failures.
I remember a specific moment that really hit me. A friend of mine posted a photo from a trip to Italy. Beautiful photo. Sunshine, pasta, smiling face. And I felt this heavy feeling. Like, she's living her best life and I'm just sitting here eating cereal.
Ha! But what was actually happening on that trip?
I found out later she had food poisoning for 2 of the 5 days. She cried in her hotel room because she was so sick. The beautiful pasta photo was from day 1, before everything went wrong. That picture? Completely real. The story behind it? Completely different.
And that is the trap. We see the picture and we build an entire story in our heads. We assume they are happy, they are successful, they have everything figured out. But we are just filling in the gaps with our imagination. And usually, our imagination makes their life look better than ours.
So the first idea is this. Comparison is natural, but in the modern world, it's almost always unfair. You are seeing a tiny, carefully selected piece of someone else's life and comparing it to the full, messy, complicated reality of your own.
And that comparison? It was never fair to begin with.
Okay, so we know comparison is natural and often unfair. But let's talk about what it actually does to you. Because it's not just a feeling, it has a real cost.
I went through a phase a few years ago where I was constantly measuring myself against other people. A colleague at work got promoted before me. An old school friend started a successful business. Someone I went to university with bought a house. And every single time, I felt this slow, heavy feeling, like I was falling behind.
Falling behind. That phrase says so much. Like life is a race and everyone else is ahead of you.
Exactly. And when you feel like you're falling behind, you stop enjoying what you actually have. I remember sitting in a coffee shop that I genuinely loved. Good coffee, nice atmosphere, and instead of enjoying it, I was on my phone, looking at someone else's life and feeling terrible about my own. The coffee got cold. I didn't even notice.
That's what comparison steals. It steals your present moment. You have something good right in front of you, and your brain is somewhere else, measuring, judging, feeling not enough.
And it also kills motivation in a really sneaky way. You'd think that seeing successful people would inspire you. But when comparison comes from a place of insecurity, when you're not just curious but actually feeling inferior, it doesn't inspire you. It paralyzes you.
Paralyses. Great word. That means you freeze. You can't move forward because the gap feels too big. If they're already so far ahead, why even try? That thought can quietly stop you from starting anything new.
I stopped writing for almost 3 months once because I read an article by someone my age who was already a published author. Instead of thinking, wow, that's possible, let me work towards it, I thought, I'll never be that good. What's the point? And I just stopped.
3 months of not writing. Not because you weren't talented, but because comparison made you feel like you didn't measure up. That is such a real and painful experience. And I think so many people listening right now recognize that feeling.
So idea 2 is this. Comparison doesn't just make you feel bad in the moment. It quietly steals your joy, your presence, and your motivation. And the longer you stay in that comparison loop, the more it costs you.
All right, so we've talked about why we compare and what it costs us. Now the big question. What do we actually do about it? How do you break the habit?
And I want to be real here. I don't think you ever completely stop comparing. Your brain will still do it. The goal isn't to become a robot who feels nothing. The goal is to notice when comparison is hurting you and have some tools to handle it.
The first tool I use is what I call the run your own race mindset. Imagine you are in a running race. If you spend the whole race looking sideways at the other runners, what happens?
You slow down. You lose your rhythm. You might even trip and fall.
Exactly. The runners who win are the ones focused completely on their own lane, their own pace, their own finish line. They don't ignore the others. They know they're there, but they don't let them control their attention.
I love that image, and it applies to life so well. You have your own lane, your own background, your own starting point, your own timing. Comparing your chapter 3 to someone else's chapter 20 is just not useful.
Another tool that honestly changed my life: compare yourself to yourself, not to other people. Ask yourself, am I better than I was 6 months ago? Am I learning? Am I growing, even slowly?
That shift is huge. Because when you compare yourself to yourself, you can actually win. You can actually see progress. But when you compare yourself to others, there will always be someone ahead of you. Always. It never ends.
I started keeping a very simple journal, just a few sentences every Sunday. What did I do this week that I didn't do last week? What small thing did I get better at? And sometimes the answer is tiny, like I cooked a new recipe. I went to the gym twice. I finished a difficult conversation I had been avoiding. Small, but real.
And those small things matter so much more than we give them credit for. Growth doesn't usually look dramatic from the inside. It's quiet. It's slow. It's one better choice at a time.
There's also one practical thing you can do on social media. Curate your feed. That means choose carefully what you follow. Unfollow accounts that consistently make you feel bad about yourself. It sounds simple, but it is genuinely powerful.
Because social media isn't going away. But you do have control over what fills your screen. If every time you see a certain account you feel insecure, inferior, or jealous, that account is not serving you. Unfollow without guilt. Protect your mental space.
And follow things that genuinely inspire you without making you feel bad. Accounts that teach you something, make you laugh, or show you a kind of life you're actually working towards, not one that makes you feel like you're failing.
So idea 3. Run your own race. Compare yourself to your past self, not to other people. Curate what you consume. And remember, your journey has its own timing, and that timing is completely valid. Okay, last idea. And this one is my favorite, honestly, because it doesn't ask you to stop noticing other people's success. It just asks you to change what you do with that feeling.
Ooh, tell me more.
So here's what usually happens when we see someone doing well. We feel something. Maybe jealousy, maybe inadequacy, maybe just that uncomfortable, why not me feeling. And then we either close the app and feel bad, or we keep scrolling and feel worse.
Very relatable.
But what if, instead of letting that feeling spiral into self-criticism, you got genuinely curious? What if you asked, what can I learn from this person? What are they doing that I could try? What is it about their success that I actually admire?
So you turn comparison into curiosity. I love that. Instead of they have it and I don't, you shift to that's interesting. How did they get there?
And sometimes the answer will be, they worked incredibly hard. They failed many times before you saw them. They have skills you don't have yet, but could develop. Or maybe their situation is very different from yours, and their path just isn't your path.
I had this experience with a woman I followed online. She was doing exactly the work I wanted to do: writing, teaching, building a community. And at first, I felt that familiar pang of jealousy, like that should be me.
What did you do?
Instead of closing the app and feeling sorry for myself, I actually studied her. I read her content. I noticed how she talked to her audience. I paid attention to how she structured her work. I turned my jealousy into a kind of research, and I learned so much. She actually became one of my biggest inspirations, not a source of pain.
That is such a mature and powerful shift. And here's something else worth saying. When you see someone else succeed, it doesn't take anything away from you. Life is not a pie with a limited number of slices. Someone else's success does not mean there is less success available for you.
Oh, I love that. The pie image. We sometimes act like success is finite. Like, if they have some, there's less for me. But it doesn't work that way. Someone else's happiness, achievement, or good fortune does not reduce yours.
In fact, and this is something that really changed my thinking, other people's success can actually be evidence that what you want is possible. If they did it, it exists. It's real. It happened. Which means it can happen in different ways, for different people, in different timelines.
Including you. Including the person listening to this right now. Your version of success, at your own pace, in your own way, that is completely possible.
So, idea 4. When comparison shows up, try getting curious instead of critical. Ask what you can learn. Let other people's journeys inform yours without controlling how you feel about your own.
Okay, word tour time. We have 8 fantastic expressions from today's episode. Let's break them down one by one so you can actually use them in your own English.
First, highlight reel. A highlight reel originally comes from sports. It's a short video of only the best, most exciting moments. Now we use it to describe the way people only show their best moments online. Example: remember, social media is just her highlight reel. You're not seeing the full picture. Or, don't compare your real life to someone else's highlight reel.
Second, behind the scenes. This means the things happening in private, away from the public view. What's really going on when nobody is watching? Example: his life looks perfect online, but behind the scenes, he's going through a really hard time. Or, behind the scenes, she practices English for 2 hours every day. That's why she sounds so fluent.
Third, falling behind. This means feeling like you are progressing more slowly than others, like everyone else is moving forward and you are being left back. Example: he felt like he was falling behind all his friends who already had stable jobs. Or, don't worry about falling behind. Everyone moves at their own speed.
Fourth, paralyze. To paralyze means to make someone unable to move or act. When a feeling paralyzes you, you freeze. You can't do anything. Example: fear of failure can paralyze you and stop you from even trying. Or, comparing myself to others used to paralyze me completely.
Fifth, run your own race. This idiom means to focus on your own path and progress, not on what other people are doing. Example: stop looking at what your colleagues are doing and just run your own race. Or, when I started running my own race, I became so much more productive.
Sixth, curate. To curate something means to carefully select and organize it. When we talk about curating your social media feed, it means choosing what you follow on purpose, keeping things that help you, removing things that don't. Example: I took time to curate my Instagram feed, and now it actually makes me feel good. Or, you can curate your environment to support your mental health.
Seventh, inadequacy. Inadequacy is the feeling that you are not good enough, not smart enough, not successful enough, not attractive enough. It's a very common feeling, especially when we compare. Example: scrolling through social media often triggers feelings of inadequacy. Or, she struggled with inadequacy for years before she learned to appreciate her own strengths.
And eighth, pang. A pang is a sudden, sharp feeling, usually an unpleasant one. A pang of jealousy, a pang of sadness, a pang of guilt. It comes quickly, it's strong, and then it passes. Example: I felt a pang of jealousy when I saw his promotion announcement. Or, she felt a pang of regret when she heard the news. It's a small but very expressive word.
Okay, let's bring everything together. Today we talked about 4 big ideas. First, comparison is human and ancient. But the modern world, especially social media, makes it deeply unfair because you're only seeing other people's highlight reels.
Second, comparison has a real cost. It steals your joy, your presence in the moment, and sometimes your motivation to even try. It's not just a bad feeling, it actively holds you back.
Third, you can break the comparison habit by running your own race, comparing yourself to your past self, and curating what you consume online. Your lane, your pace, your finish line.
And fourth, instead of letting comparison turn into self-criticism, try turning it into curiosity. Learn from others. Let their success remind you that yours is possible too. Other people's wins don't take anything away from you.
And here is your reminder for this week. The next time you feel that pang of jealousy or inadequacy when you look at someone else's life, pause, take a breath, and ask yourself one question. Am I comparing my full story to someone else's best chapter?
Because the answer is probably yes. And your full story, with all its messy, complicated, beautiful reality, is worth so much more than you give it credit for.
Now, your challenge this week. Write one sentence in the comments using a word from today. Something like, I sometimes feel inadequacy when I look at other people's English skills. Or, I am trying to run my own race this year. One sentence in English. That's your practice.
And if this episode helped you, even a tiny bit, please like the video. It genuinely takes 2 seconds and it helps so many more learners find Key to Learn English. Subscribe so you never miss an episode, and share this with one friend who needs to hear it today.
Be kind to yourself this week. Stop measuring your worth by someone else's ruler. You are on your own path at your own perfect timing, and that is exactly where you're supposed to be.
This is Sarah.
And this is Ryan. You've been listening to Key to Learn English.
Take care of yourself, and we will see you in the next one. Bye!